Good morning, everybody. Thank you. In this session, I was the moderator for the good discussion with presentation regarding the academia, R&D. And there are 3 speakers from European, 1 and 2 from the Southeast Asian. One is Dr.Alexander Ryzhov from Russian Presidential Academy of National Economy and Public Administration, Lomonosov, Moscow State University, Russia. The second is from the Thai, Dr.Jirapon Sunkpho, as a Director of CIO Graduation Program, College of Innovation, Thammasat University. And the third from Malaysia, Professor Dr. Rozaini, PT Sheila Osman, as a Director of the ITU UUM, Asia Pacific of Center of Excellence for Rural ICT Development University, Utara, Malaysia. This session, the topic is in academia and R&D. That's a very good topic because yesterday we just discussed about the academia in ITU forum. And in the first presenters, Dr. Alexander Ryzhov will talk about the personalization of e-life. It's a very interesting topic for how to personalization of our life in our home, in our children, in our patient, etc., etc. So the time for you, Professor.
Thank you. So thank you, Dr. Suhono. I would like focus you on the important from our point of view topic. It is the personalization of our digital presence, personalization of our e-life. In some sense, it is connected with previous very good presentation about big data. But we will focus not on how we can use this huge amount of data for prediction, for solving our task. I will share ideas how we can personalize our presence in this digital world. The first, we have made personalization of our physical world as a society. We have different houses. We can personalize this for Thailand, for Russia, for any other country. We do not find the same houses around the world, even for our animals. We have different style, different type of personalization clothes we have. It's also a way how we can make our physical world more comfortable for us. Cars and many other things we make very personal, we make very comfortable for living. But what about digital life? The first, we are solving more and more tasks in electronic worlds. Professor Victor provided us a very interesting number about big data, about Google, about Amazon. Yes, social networks. We know all these networks and spent a lot of time there. E-supermarkets like eBay, Amazon, and others. It is a huge business. We often use banking system, electronics. Even e-offices, remote offices, very popular and effective for now. We are talking about e-governments. So it means that this digital world, this electronic environment, we use every day for solving amount of tasks. We spend more and more time in our electronic world. Just several facts about Facebook. Facebook is country number 3 around the world after China and India, about 1 billion citizens. Every second, at least 8 people on the planet become a part of the existing social networks. Every second, every minute, at least 100,000 people became friends in Facebook. And every hour, 4.5 million Facebook people receive invitation to an event. 1 million links distributed every 20 minutes. And a lot of other facts show us that we actively use our electronic world, our electronic environment. We spend a lot of time there. But what about personalization? For example, if you are trying to find a good restaurant, what does it mean? Who asked it? It is very important. It is the teenager or old person. It is the rich or poor, etc. Good restaurant for what? For meeting with friends, for official events. Of course, different. What is expensive car or expensive cell phone? Expensive for what? For student or for rich person? And a lot of examples show us that different people keep in mind a little bit different things when we use even the same words. How we can understand who asked for a good restaurant, for expensive cell phone, and how we can make this request more personal. Here I will share with you our ideas about adaptive semantic layer approach. We try to provide by any user an interface to this digital world which allow us define my concept, user's concept, search information by this concept, and of course if we provide this personalization, we have to provide tools for adjustment user's concept based on search results. At first time we use these ideas for nuclear security problems. It was 1994. Base for this, it is a fuzzy set theory and fuzzy logic. I cannot spend a lot of time for explanation all this mathematics inside, but general picture looks like this. We have two types of users concept. The first one is based on numerical universal set. It is a presentation, for example, not very expensive car or cheap phone or something like this. And we have technology how we can build, create these membership functions. And situation number two, when we have just a list of restaurants or cars, we do not have this interval. In this case, we can separate for three boxes, yellow, green, and red, for different things, for example, a sport car. And after this, when we explain to the system what is the expensive, what is the cheap, we try to find. Algorithm looks like ugly, but we can show in the picture. We can calculate for every elements of our database degree of belongings of membership functions, how these records belong to our dream, to our things we will try to find. And after this results is the ranking of records in database according to users' query and users' understanding. But the question is, who describes this concept and how we can personalize this? After searching, we can be happy with the results. It means that this formalization of semantic is good for user, but often we inform the system that we are not happy. Please, I need a little bit cheaper, or I need a little bit expensive things. It means that we explain to the system that we have direction of modification for our membership functions, less or cheap. And we also have power or volume of modification. It is a distance how we can move this our membership functions. And the same we can use for calculation of general belongings of the records, based on different presentation of logic we use during this calculation. And after series of iteration, about 3 or 4, we have these experiments. We have situation that person happy with the choice, with restaurant, with I don't know, cell phone, which person will buy with cars. It means that after this iteration, we provide formalization of the concept which are personal for the user. In this case, we can provide a structure of the adaptive semantic layer like this. The first, we have to define user concept and link this concept with database attributes and create membership function. It is the first step. The second step, it is modification of membership functions and logic. It is tool how we can provide personal formalization of the user's concept. And after this, we can see different search results for student and for businessmen, for young person and for old person. It means that these digital worlds became more personal. How we can optimize this approach? How we can make it not somehow, but the best way? The problem number one: how are we describing the object? Optimization for perception-based description, perception-based information. And problem number two: how we are searching information in this type database where we have linguistic description of data. Optimization of information travel for perception-based information. Problem one could be formulated like this. Is it possible, taking into account some features of man's perception, formulate a rule for selection of optimal set of values for these linguistic variables? And what means optimal? Optimal means that we can minimum uncertainty when we describe the object. Or if one object describes different people, then we have minimal degree of divergence in this description. And the result is that we can formulate this method, and if somebody interested, then I can provide all these formulas and theorems. Moreover, we can be sure that this method is stable. It means that if we made some natural errors or deviation during creation membership function, it not big influence on the result. We can use this method in practical task. It means that we are capable to describe object with minimum possible uncertainty. It means that guarantee optimum operation of the adaptive semantic layer from this point of view. The problem number two about how we search information. We also can formulate that we can introduce indicators of the quality of information travel in this database. It is a special type of information losses and noises. And we can show that we can select optimum set of values for minimization of these parameters. It means maximum quality indicators for information travel. And this method is also stable. We can use in practical tasks. In this case, we can formulate that we can develop system with guarantee optimum work of adaptive semantic layer during personalization of our interface, our window to the digital world. So resume looks like this. The first, we have done personalization of our physical world. We are capable to make our physical world comfortable and very, very personal. We do not find, I don't know, the same houses, the same cars. It is a little bit different. People like make his work very personal. We spent a lot of time and we solve a lot of tasks in digital world. It means that we must make our e-world more personal. And message number 3, we can do this by the best optimal way. It is my ideas how we can make our work more personal. Of course, we have some tools for tuning. We can change interface, colors, etc., size of the text in our computer. But it is not semantic personalization. Here, I try to show how we can make our living in digital world more comfortable and more personal. Thank you.
It is very interesting talk about how to optimize the personal of iWorld, this experiences from the Russia. And then the second presenter is Dr. Jirapon Sunkpho about what going on in the master plan of the Smart Thailand in the 2020. So 10 minutes for you, Jirapon-san.
Thank you, Professor Suhono. So I have 10 minutes. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about the more practical side of the research. Is the digital economy, is the Smart Thailand selection toward 2020, which is the research that has been done by Thammasat University along with MICT, and we try to come up with a new ICT master plan for Thailand. So this is the outline of my presentation. I'll first talk about the overview of ICT in Thailand, and then I'll go to the environmental change, and then I'll talk about vision and strategy, and finally the initiative that should be taken along with this master plan. So first, let's take a look at Thailand at a glance. So we are a country of 67 million people with a GDP of 365 billion. GDP per capita is about 3,300 USD. And we are actually a manufacturing country. A lot of people think of us as an agricultural country, but in fact, according to GDP, the manufacturing accounts for about 40% of the GDP, while the agricultural sector accounts for only 8.4%. But the labor force in agricultural sectors is account for about 40%. So that means in terms of economic, we are pretty much a manufacturing country. About the history of development of ICT, actually we can be divided in 4 stages. From the early stages, before 1995, actually there was nothing. Right? Until in 92, we gained the first internet connection, and then the commercialization of the internet began in 1995. And then after 95 up until 2000, we have a master plan called ICT 2000, and that we have a software park, and then we have National Internet Exchange Point, we have SchoolNet and Government Information Network, and then 1 million internet user hit in 1999, and 10 mobile users in 98. And after the ICT 2000, then it becomes the next plan, which is the ICT 2010, which is about e-Thailand. We try to digitize almost everything, education, the agricultural and everything. And then the Ministry of ICT was formed in 2002. So Ministry of ICT now is 11 years old, so still young. And we have 10 million internet users in 2006. And now we are in the phase of Smart Thailand, which the goal is in 2020. We want Thailand to become the country with more of based on information. We want to make all decisions based on information technology. And EGA was the result, actually it's the result of e-Thailand. Is established. EGA and EDA is established in 2011. EGA is responsible for electronic government tasks of the Thai government. And in 2011, we have 100% mobile penetration, and we have 1 million mobile banking accounts in 2013. For the ICT industry, right now it's pretty small comparing to other sectors. It only accounts for about 5.4% of the GDP. And most of them come from communication industry. Software is very small. It's only 1 billion USD industry. For the internet penetration, from latest data, the penetration rate for the internet is about 35%. And for about 5 million households connect to the internet. And again, mobile is already passed on 100%. And 14 million smartphone users in Thailand right now. And about 17 million are on 3G service. And we are pretty much a country of social media. Bangkok has the most, Bangkok is the capital of Facebook. We have like 10 million Facebook users in Bangkok. And even more than London, more than in Rio de Janeiro. But Twitter is not really popular. We have only 2 million Twitter accounts. And YouTube and Instagram also on the rise. On e-commerce, again, only account for 5.5% of GDP, according to the National Statistics Office. But actually, there's a lot of e-commerce going on, but most of them are done offline. That means people buying things online, but they pay money offline. So that doesn't take into the stat. So for the business use of ICT, for large business, a lot of companies already have internet. But for smaller company like company that less than 15 people, not many of them have used the internet. Government, 100% have website, 75% have social network, and 17% have less than like 100,000 USD ICT budget. And 67% provide e-service already. And 10% provide personalized e-service like the revenue department. And government has come up with 2 very important ICT projects. One tablet per child, which can, Eric Schmidt said that it's pretty forward-thinking policy. And we have free Wi-Fi, free public Wi-Fi for all the region in Thailand. For comparing Thailand to international benchmark, we do pretty most of the ranking we in the middle. For example, 27 out of 60 for the IMD competitiveness ranking, 74 for the NI ranking from out of 144 countries, 92 out of 190 from UN ranking, and 20 out of 55 from WASEDA ranking. I don't know, this year maybe go up a little bit. Now let's talk about the environmental chain. We can group the chain in the environment to be in 4 areas. In economics, there's a lot of economic cooperation formed, so the importance of region may be more important than global. Service and information are driving the economy right now. We have aging society problem, individual empowerment that may result in more of cyber attack on cyber crime, environment, global warming, energy and food security. Lifestyle people are more mobile, more ubiquitous. And Gartner predicts 4 trends of technologies that will be like the main 4 technology that will affect our life, which is social. Like a lot of people, everybody use social network now. Mobile, now Google Glass, very imminent. Maybe next year we will be able to use Google Glass. Google Glass delivery, cloud service, and finally big data. Big data is very big, and as you can see from the previous, from Professor Junberger, that big data can support economy as well. And a lot of things is based on big data. Even like Google driverless car. Driverless car is all about data problem. It's not about algorithm, it's about data. And when we define the word digital economy, there are 4 characteristics of digital economy, which is internet as a platform, and goods and services no longer be tangible. It can be music. You can download music from the internet. You don't have to buy a CD anymore. Physical location is irrelevant, so you don't have to be in the place where you want to sell your product. And this intermediation of middlemen is also the characteristic of digital economy. So let's move to what we're going to do with our third ICT master plan. And so we're going to focus on 4 areas, because that will make up the economy, which is infrastructure and the government. Government has to be smart, have to be very open and anticipate the need of the people. You have to improve the quality of people, and so that the business can be vibrant. So the goal is to have 90% internet penetration by 2020, and ICT industry should account for about 18% of the GDP. Right now we have 5, so it's a really long way to go. And we want to be in top quartile of the NI ranking. Right now we're in 50 percentile, so 25 is challenging. We want ICT to create more jobs, and we want people to use more e-government service. So the strategy will be we will have 4 strategies. The first is to use ICT to unleash the potential and improve the living standard. And the government has to be more open and more engaged with the people, and business must use the ICT to enhance and innovate. And of course, the ICT infrastructure has to be in place to be the engine for growth of the Thai economy. So the first one, how to unleash potential and improve living standard. So we have quite a number of problems about our human capital: low quality workforce, low percentage of knowledge intensive job, and of course the education system is not really that good. From the ranking in ASEAN, we rank behind Cambodia and even Myanmar. So what we're going to do about it, of course we can't improve everybody to be ICT literate. So we try to focus on different group of citizens. For ICT professional, we want them to be more comply to international standard. And for younger generation, we try to implant their idea with the ICT so that they become more innovative. And then for the general population, we just want them to be able to use ICT effectively, to be able to live in daily life. And we want to provide equal opportunity for people with special needs, elderly and disabled, so that all the Thai citizens have sufficient ICT skill and to be more professional and to be more innovative in applying that skill. For the infrastructure, we have we have problem of we don't have very much of the good content. For example, in Wikipedia, we only have 80,000 articles that in Thai language in Wikipedia, which is very low number comparing to other language. The last mile coverage is not that good too. People in rural area have really limited internet access, and some rural regulation are the problem of ICT investment. So we're trying to increase the coverage by expanding the coverage into the rural area and increase the international backbone. And we try to upgrade the network into the next generation. We try to use IPv6 and all kinds of technology that will enable us to so that our infrastructure become more of the engine for growth. And we have to change the laws and acts to accommodate the infrastructure investment. And finally, we have to increase the capacity in dealing with cyber threats, which will be more of the problem in the future. For the government has problem with silo effect. I mean, each government has its own data and very limit of sharing. And citizen participation is also limit. Regulation also prevents some e-service to be very effective. For example, some department can do all e-service. Some have to go to some part have to be done by paper and some part have to be done by electronic. It's because of the rule and regulation. So try to improve e-service quality and increase citizen participation. Maybe we want some agency to be truly e-service without any papers involved. And of course, like Professor Schönberger said, we have to share government data, share as much as possible so that company can innovate from those data that shared by government. We want to promote integration among related government parties and make use of information from maybe from big data. Use it. For example, the problem of traffic in Bangkok maybe can be solved by big data. And we want to appoint the CIO at all levels of government, from the country, ministry, department, and provinces, so that we have a leader in all levels of government unit. And finally, in the private sector, there's a report by SIPA just announced early this month that the ICT professional, most of them are underqualified. I'm sorry for those IT professionals, but it's in the report. And R&D is even less, and the startup ecosystem is not in there yet. For example, if you have an idea, it's very hard to form up a company with your idea and get the money and make commercial and sell stuff to people. It's really hard to in Thailand. So we want to promote the use of ICT to enhance innovation, and we want to enhance management skill for ICT entrepreneur, increase domestic consumption and demand by increasing trust of local ICT product. And of course, we want to provide financial service so that startup can be easier and to start a company. So we have some critiques on that. A lot of plan has been written, but no implementation. So we are really focused on how to implement this plan. So we divide the organization into 3 layers. The first one is the coordination layer. We'll have a Smart Thailand board, which will develop from the National IT Committee, and will become Smart Thailand board. And from Smart Thailand board, we will have Smart Thailand office. We will be like a project management office that will help the board to monitor all the progress of the plan. And then we have the implementation layer, which are all the government unit that will do the implementation. For example, EGA, Electronic Government Agency, EDDA, Electronic Transaction Development Agency, SIPA, Software Industry Profession Agency. And we want to have SCIT, Smart Country Institute of Technology, which will implement all the big and important ICT projects so that all the things that we plan will be realized. So these are the roles of each organization. The steering committee will build the vision. The Ministry of ICT will take in charge of the policy making, building infrastructure, government planning. SCIT will develop and implement the policy and provide technical support. And finally, we have university, national labs, and professional association to provide R&D and increase collaboration among government and industry. So for the initiative, this is the roadmap for Smart Thailand. For the first 2 years after the plan, we will build a more solid foundation. And then in 2016, should be, and each community in Thailand will become more smarter because of all the interconnection. In 2017, we will increase more collaboration into AEC, and then 2018 will be more global, and then 2020 we will probably reach the goal of Smart Thailand. So these are the major initiatives. How to unleash the human potential. One of the projects will be the to build the ecosystem for education. It's called Thailand Cyber Education Center. We will be like an app store in Apple, but this is solely for education. So people with good content for training children, they can sell their content there. So we can build more the ecosystem for developer of good content. And we have a student that use one tablet per child that can buy the contents from this Thailand education store. So we can build the ecosystem for this. And of course, we have to prepare for Smart Thailand personal preparation. And this was in the permanent secretary span already. For smarter government, of course, last year we introduced the Smart Province project in Nakhon Nayok. We want to expand more of Smart Province into 10 more provinces maybe in the next 2 years. And we want to integrate all the government information, for example, CCTV, GIS. The cutting-edge infrastructure, government cloud service by EGA is just started and will be more provide more service to more government agency, national fiber optic and tower, government smart communication network. And finally, to strengthen the ICT and ICT-related industry, we will build ThailandMore.net to promote one Thambon, one product to the world. And maybe another government agency, this is also in the plan of the Permanent Secretary, National Electronic Transaction Center, and we should have a facilitating desk for ICT business startup program to increase number of startups in Thailand. So thank you very much, and this is the picture of our beautiful campus next to Chao Phraya River. So thank you.
Thank you, Jirapon Junior, Jirapon. It is an interesting talk about the Thailand roadmap, Thailand program, and Thailand solution for the 200 about the ICT for the Smart Thailand. And then the third presenter from Malaysia, then fourth is also from the Malaysia, from University Utara Malaysia, North Malaysia, Prof.Dr. Rozaini BT Sheik Osman. The time for you. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I will talk about the role of universities in rural ICT development to share what our COE have carried out for the last 5 years. I'm Rozaini from University of Utara, Malaysia. We are one of the ITU, Asia Pacific Center of Excellence for Rural ICT Development. So I'd like to thank you to the organizers for inviting me here. So let me introduce ITU-UM as this Center of Excellence. We started off initially just as an ITU Asia Pacific Center of Excellence to do capacity building for executive in Asia Pacific region. And we are a center for information and media management for the university as well. And recently, we have just become an ad hoc mobile lab and an ITU Academia member. We started in 2007 when one of the Center of Excellence of the 5 in Asia Pacific in rural ICT development. Now they're about 8 now, actually. Just a little bit about Malaysia. We are about 29 million, where about 30% of the land is occupied by 70% of the people in urban, whereas 30% of the people are staying in the rural, 70% area of the country. So there is a big issues and challenges, as there are still many urban, mainly uneducated and aging, living in the rural, which forms a great challenge for the country. Although we are number 24 in the ranking Wasida, number 40 plus in the United Nations. We are trying under the vision of 2020 to achieve a high income and developed country. So we are working on many things, but these are the issues and challenges that universities will try to help the government in terms of the socio-economic, the infrastructure, and the applications and content. This is where mainly that the universities can play a role. We have over 500 institutions of higher learning in Malaysia, and we have many schools where PCs are put into schools to bridge the digital divide. Okay, let me get back to our Center of Excellence. As I've said, we started with the executive program, training of face-to-face as well as e-learning. And we have moved on since then to do a lot of community programs because we realized that in order for us to do executive training in rural ICT development, we need to go to the grassroots. We need to know the community. We need to know those people who need the support in order for us to help the government in trying to achieve Vision 2020. So we are involved in human capital development and have engaged our students and lecturers as well as other individuals who can help in the development of the people. And as a university, we do need to have research and development. And we are a management-based university, but as you can see, as you can see, we do have IT as well as other management-based programs. And these students, postgraduate students, master students, are also involved in our activities. These are the executive programs that we have conducted since 2007. And we have engaged many experts from all over the world, from Canada, from Tunisia, and many others as well in the Asia-Pacific region. And these are the groups, the target group, the underserved community that in Malaysia that we are trying to address. The elderly, the indigenous group, women and children, and mainly SMEs right now. We are getting to the other groups as well. So mainly, our focus is to help the country bridge the digital divide and nurture future talents for the nation so that we can empower the community. So having said that we are in the management university, we have programs from the very heart, like IT, to the soft, to law, policy, services, and legislation, that gives us over 1,000 researchers in the university, as well as our colleagues from the other universities that we are working with. So we do have these programs, as I mentioned just now. We get people to work with us under postgraduate programs, postdoc and research assistance program, and industrial attachment, and offer also fellowship. Okay, now I will show more pictures, not just words. These are the pictures of programs that we do for the indigenous kids. We realize that the children likes to play gadget, and to attract the indigenous group is not easy. They're not so reluctant to open up. So we have to engage the children with interesting games, and we have researchers who work with many research ideas in their PhDs, and we apply those applications to the children. For example, we have the augmented reality programs, application for dyslexia children. So we use them, we take in the researchers and reach out to the children. And we do train telecenter managers, as I'm one of the trainer for the telecenter, certification of telecenter management in the country. So we have over 2,000 telecenters in the country to help bridge the digital divide as one of the initiatives of the government. So we do training for those in the area around us. Apart from that, we do take part also in ITU program for the Girls in ICT Day. We started in 2012, actually, and again this year. And we did research. We looked at teachers who are in the kindergarten, the preschools. We found out that many of them are women, over 30s, and really do not have ICT literacy. Thus, we brought them in, gave them training, and get them interested and motivated to work on the different applications that will interest many aging women. Okay. And again, we have other telecenters that we supported around the area. Our researchers do work with other universities in the country, like USM, on intelligent assistive robot for rural children. And we do have seminars that we carried out. This is the program, the MOU that we have with Taiwan, APEC Digital Opportunity Center that we have started this year. It's going to be a 2-year program, pilot study, to see how we can adopt Taiwan cluster methodology to help the SMEs. So what we did was we invited a group of entrepreneurs from the region under 2 clusters. One will be tourism, the other one is food-based entrepreneurs. And they came and were interested. I think in Malaysia, we do have a problem in trying to help the SMEs, as many of them are still struggling. Now, these are the type 2 group of entrepreneurs who have started, are doing well, but need to have that leap up. So we call them in, and we have given them training with the ICT, with the Taiwanese partners. And we found out that they do lack problems in trying to promote, and even in the product design. So we have experts from both Taiwan and Malaysia to support in trying to identify their weakness and strength, look at the packaging, presented that in Taiwan, and visited all the entrepreneurs, because this concept was really successful in Taiwan. And it is written, many articles are written about how Taiwan have helped the industry through this clustering concept. So we did that in this country. And the workshop in Taiwan, because Peru is another university that is also doing this pilot project, and we compared notes. And after 6 months, there are really progress to see the change in attitude, as well as the effort that have been put in to help the entrepreneurs. And these are the product design that have been given back by the Taiwanese experts, making the product smaller, charging more, adding more values, for example, so that we can increase the income of the entrepreneurs. So after 6 months, we have seen the progress that we have done, and we will still try our best to get this project on until the end of the next year. So ITUM have worked with many universities in the country and many ministries. We do have programs with other countries, and we are also involved in the transformation lab for Malaysia as well as for the state of Kedah, and we work with other agencies so that we can bridge the digital divide in the country and in the Asia-Pacific region. So these are our collaborators. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Professor Rozaini Sheik Osman. Interesting experiment and experience in University of Utara, Malaysia. And the final presenter is Professor Ramadass from National Advanced IP versus Sheik Center, University of Sains, Malaysia. This is about the future of Internet. The time for you.
Thank you, Chairman. So I'm a last-minute add-on to the talk. No slides from me, so you'll just have to bear with listening to what I have to say. And I will talk a little bit on what is called, well, what I and my group visualize as the future Internet. Whenever we talk of the Internet or we talk of the future of the Internet, a lot of us think technical. We think routing. We think, how fast bandwidth can I get? And the technical people usually focus on that. We begin to realize that the rest of the world's focus is slightly changing. The rest of the world's focus is, I want to be connected. That's all. They don't care how they're connected, who they are connected to, who is providing the service. They want to just stay connected. Right? And if you take a look today, 50% of the time spent by people, our younger generation, younger I mean in the 20s now, is on the internet. Now, if you look around the room, you'll see a lot of us are also thinking or doing something on the internet right now. But the younger generation spends 50% of their time on the internet. So, came a time when our group, which looks at stuff that is happening in the future of the internet, started studying this. And the first question is this a problem? And then the word internet addiction comes up. Now everyone, or a lot of people, begin to see the internet as a threat or a bad thing. They say, oh, children are spending too much time on the internet. Now we have started looking at it from a slightly different perspective. When things change, technology evolves, things actually changed very, very greatly with the evolution of the internet. And with the internet came things that we ourselves did not imagine. And I'll give the example of my own children, who we have lots of complaints on, spend too much time on the internet. Now, my daughter finished her exams, and she said she was going to go to the movies with her friends. And the general concept was, okay, go out, socialize, that's good. Go with your friends to the movies, you finished a big exam now. So I brought her home, and then I said, which mall are you all going to? You know, what time are you meeting your friends, and which mall are you going to? She looked at me and she said, I'm already watching the movie with my friends. So she's sitting there in front of a computer, they're all watching the movie, and they're all chatting with each other. And their concept of going out to watch a movie means going on the virtual space, going onto the internet space, and watching a movie together. That's their concept. My concept, my days, going to a movie means a few of us get together, we all go to the movie, the real movie. Right? So this is virtuality, and this is their concept of going with friends to a movie. And then constant arguments with my son. He is a gamer. I used to be a gamer. He is a gamer. I stopped being a gamer because he kept beating me, right? And then he kicked me out of his group. He said I was a feeder. We used to play World of Warcraft and Warcraft. Now, why is he so attracted to gaming? I was trying to figure out. I mean, I got bored, I left, but he was still very much into it and is still very much into it. What makes him so attracted that I can actually make him do all his homework if he agrees to play the game at night? So that's the motivation, right? Do all your homework, do everything. If you do well, then you get 1 hour of game time. And he does it. He does it because he wants his 1 hour of game time. So is that addiction? Right? So, and I began to observe why he needed it. And then I realized that during that 1 hour of game time, he totally immerses himself into the environment of the game. Whether it's a shooting game or whether it's a strategy game, he immerses himself and he becomes a hero in the game. And within that virtual space, for 1 hour, he can do what he cannot do in real world. Right? He can destroy demons. He can fight dragons. And he can immerse himself in an entertainment world which is completely different from what we experience in the real world today. And for that 1 hour, he is lost in there. He's a hero in there. Then I have the little guy. And the little guy, he used to, when he was even littler than little, he used to play with Lego. He likes building things. But he had a problem building things in the real world. I realized this because when I started looking at the things he was building in the virtual world, it was totally different. he uses a software called Minecraft, and he builds things. He builds buildings that float in the air. He designs buildings that float in the air, that have waterfalls that come down. Right? Totally out of this world, but the only thing limiting him is his imagination. So in the real world, we are limited by what we can feel, touch, see, and do. But in the virtual world, there was no there is no limitation to what he can do. And that creates an entirely different environment for him. And he is immersed in it. So if you start looking at these examples and more examples, you begin to realize that the internet's not an addiction. It's a space of freedom. I talked with my Japanese students. For them, the internet becomes a space where they can truly voice out what they feel. Because in the real world, they feel that they have to follow certain social standings. But in the internet world, they are anonymous. They have their own avatar. They can be whatever they want to. So that was a way of letting out their emotions, letting out what they feel. Again, in the virtual world. So a lot of them tend to spend a lot of time in the virtual world today. And if you really look, virtual games, children, let me tell you the reality. The internet is the single biggest economy in the world today. There are more than $10 billion of transactions every day taking place on the internet. And that's, I tell you, is a very conservative figure. 10 billion is nothing. If you calculate all the fringe things that happen as a result of transactions on the internet, I would put it easily at 500 billion a day. Is the economy of the internet. No country in the world can even come close to that. And that's today. And that's growing. Every day, economy on the internet grows. Right? You heard Professor Jirapon. Thailand now has a good plan to increase ICT knowledge, ICT build-up within the country. Thailand will participate actively in the internet economy. Everything that he mentions is connected to the internet. Professor Alexander mentioned it through mathematical models. He's looking at how the internet is actually becoming part of the real world through mathematics, how much it's actually taking it away. Professor Rozaini talks about how we are now encouraging people to connect to the internet, how we are reaching out to those who have difficulty connecting. And we are teaching them to connect to the internet. So the internet, from again studies that I've shown, and I didn't bring the PowerPoints or the movies for you all to see, is now becoming a fast-growing parallel universe. So today I speak to you all in reality. 5 years from now, I may not be standing here. My virtual image will stand here talking to you, and that will work through the internet. And those of you attending may not be attending, but may be viewing it through the internet. And I gave an example to someone, and this is already almost true, where I could now program my avatar or my representative on the internet to go into a coffee shop on the internet to negotiate the buying of an item like a car from someone else on the internet and then go to sleep. So I can program my avatar to say, don't pay more than $3,000 for it, right? Maximum. And the avatar knows start at 2,000. So he goes in, he starts bargaining with the person. Whether that person is actively on or he has also programmed his avatar to do the negotiations is up to them. In the morning, I wake up, I go to the net, I log in, my avatar says, close the deal at 2,800. And this is just one example. So I could do 5 such transactions at one time. So now I'm cloning myself on the internet. We always thought of cloning ourselves in reality, in the physical world. But you know what is easier? Cloning me on the internet. creating Professor Sureshas on the internet, each one doing something in parallel representing me. So the internet today brings about an entire change, an entire revolution in the way we are thinking and in the way we do things. And this is something that I would like to leave this talk with, is a thought in your mind. That is there, it is real, and it is growing very fast, and it is the biggest economy in the world. And you can, and it's open to everyone. So everyone in Thailand can open another Google. It's that open. And there's very little barriers to doing commerce on the internet. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ramadass. This also conclude the all presentations also is concluded by Professor Ramadass regarding with Malaysia, about this Thailand, and also from the Russia. Actually, the time is finished, but I would like to open one question. If any question from the floor, please. No? I think it's clear because the conclusion also is shared together. So because the time is over, it's more than 30 minutes, so I think we can close the session with applause for all speakers.